everyone, and welcome to our new and improved Pita Party podcast with our new name, Beneath the Surface, with Alli and Daisy. I'm Alli.
I'm Daisy. Welcome. And today we have the legendary Kate Chastain with us today. Very excited.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here for the big launch of your Beneath the Surface. Thrilled.
So much for coming, Kate.
Yeah, we're excited to have you
so
on.
Excited.
Like the OG.
Yeah, you are. You're like the reigning queen of the BD franchise.
I don't know. I think Daisy's pretty quick for that crown. I think Daisy's maybe queen herself. She definitely is.
Yeah, she definitely
No,
is.
I just played it safe that first season. I have plenty of chances to fuck up.
Spoiler alert.
Well, give us a bit of an update on where you're at, what you're doing now, what's happening in your life.
So I bought a place in Fort Lauderdale in April, so I've been here.
Congrats.
Thank you. Fort Lauderdale just feels like home. I'm from Florida anyways, and of course I lived here many years on various boats. So it's great. And also I just had dinner and drinks with Captain Lee and his wife last night.
Oh.
Yeah, so and Bobby from the Med, he's from my town as well, but he lives here. We celebrated his birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ben lives downstairs. So it's kind of like, I'm surrounded by very familiar faces.
Yeah, a little family. The Below Deck is a bit of a family. I mean, I'm in Australia and I feel we've had so many cast members come on our IGTV series and our Pita Party podcast. And obviously now we've got you on our new podcast. But it's just kind of that community feeling in the, like, it doesn't matter where you are, what franchise you're from, how shit you did, how mental you were.
For the most part. But I do feel like you girls are my very cool, cute little cousins that I've been we've messaged before, but it's so nice to finally get on FaceTime with both of you because I do feel like we're a family.
I know, it feels like
No,
that.
I agree. I actually was really surprised because I didn't really reach out to anyone, and people were asking, they're like, oh, have you reached out to anyone? I was like, no, like, I don't know these people. Like, why would I do that? And then so many people reached out to me, and I quickly learned what a community it was. And it makes sense because no one else understands what we've been through. And it's not just a reality TV show. Like, me and Kate have spoken about this before. It's a show that you work, your ass off, and it's very unique in its way. And and you realize very quickly that no one else can understand it. So it's really, you're going to bond really quickly, even though we haven't met before. It's like, Kate messaged me and she's like, yeah, I know what you're going through. I've been there.
Yeah, especially Chief
times.
Stew to Chief Stew. You guys have a whole different experience compared to us, where we don't have that responsibility that you both are dealing with.
Right. And it's helpful, I think. It was for me when Below Deck Med came out after Below Deck had been on for a while. We became fast friends because we had that bond. And so, Daisy, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Being a chief stew on a yacht is a lot of hard work. Being a chief stew on Below Deck, I think it's more difficult, but it's also very different. And it takes an adjustment. And you're like, am I doing this right or am I not? Because it is a little bit of an adjustment. So it's helpful to have somebody who gets it.
Yeah, massively. I've never really questioned myself in my job before because it doesn't really matter. Like, if I fuck up, it's whatever, the owners or the captain's just like, oh, you did wrong, and you move on. Whereas you fuck up on Below Deck, like, I'm constantly questioning myself. I'm constantly going to bed going, did I handle that right? Did I, because you're not the whole, all the fans scrutinize you and the public, and it's not just your captain or your owner. So yeah, to have somebody else understand what you've been through, and to find that, being a chief stew on Below Deck isn't just being good at your job. It's being funny, it's being relatable, it's being engaging. It's like a whole nother thing. It's very, very stressful.
Yeah, doing a good green screen interview. Kate, you nailed those. You had so many quick-witted remarks. I was like, I remember watching it I watched it from the very start, and I remember being like, she is good. You got it.
I know I saw when you were talking earlier in your email that you guys didn't like those. I loved interviews. They're my favorite. Absolutely.
No,
I
they
hate
were
the
torture.
interviews.
It was like the lights, the interrogation surroundings. I hated them.
Here's why I love
The
it.
little stool.
The stool's not ideal.
But the thing is, though, is like you're just so direct and you don't care what people think. Like Kate's always like, to me, you're too nice. And it's really funny because like we're obviously the complete opposite. I'm so worried about hurting people's feelings, and Kate's like, that person's a bitch. Why are you worried about hurting their feelings? But I'm like,
You're pretty tough, and that's why I like you. But yeah.
oh, okay, good.
No, you actually, I think the reason I messaged you in the first message, I was like, you called a crew meeting, and the crew messed. Well, you're even recruiting me. That is so bad. Why did I ever do that? I was like, gangster.
It might be a good thing you didn't know that you could do that. There might have been like a crew meeting every day.
It is for the best. But the reason I do screen interviews is because, one, you get hair and makeup done. Then you get to drink champagne and you get to talk shit about people. I have been training my entire life. Like, we would just finish 4 hours. I'd be like, got any more questions? We can.
This is what I do.
But when you put it like that, it does sound pretty ideal. I do not think the same way. I think of it as I'm hungover, because we do them like a lot of the time when we're hungover. I don't think I'm funny, so like I'm just saying shit. Apparently I am funny, but
I would often be after Daisy, and she would always run over like by like an hour.
that's so shit, though.
A couple of hours.
I'm better at them
So
now.
how did you feel about that? And I'm like, you know how I felt? You know what? I love them. I love them so much.
Well, there you go.
Well, I agree with
Good attitude.
with Alli that you were amazing, and Hannah was really good at them as well. And you know, that's part of being a chief stew, and why you're going to be a reoccurring chief stew, and why you and Hannah had so many successful seasons. And you don't realize how important the green screen interview is. And I don't even think the public realizes how important it is. Like, I think for me, when I did the show, it was such a small part. Whereas the EPs kept being like, Daisy, they're really important. I was like, why do we have to do this? Let me just get out of here. And they're like, you don't understand how much we need these interviews. So it's a big learning curve. But yeah, you girls were amazing at it. Very, very
tell
quick.
that either of you didn't like it. You guys did great.
Oh, thanks. Daisy came out with some really good ones. The unicorn fart was my favorite. I'll forever love that. That was a classic line.
I liked my penis one.
Oh, yeah.
Just because at the time, I was literally like, Danny, you need to stop talking to me about this. Like, we have these mad bitches having lunch on the aft deck, all killing each other, and you're going on about this STD that doesn't exist. I'm just like, so when I got asked about it, I'm like, yeah, it just kind of rolled off the tongue.
Can you just
because the whole thing
remind
was so
any
mental.
listeners that can't remember what you said?
It was when Danny thought, or JL thought he had an STD and told Danny, and then Danny wanted to quit the boat. And so I basically said, you don't quit your job because your boyfriend's penis hurts. It's not a thing. Right. That is essentially what happened. I'm like, where did you get an itchy penis? Or like a sore penis? Do I have an STD? I'm like, it could have been a million things. It's so weird. Like, if I have an itchy vagina, I'm not gonna be like, Alli, I have an STD. I know it. It's happening.
And I certainly wouldn't tell anyone. Except a doctor. And I certainly wouldn't tell anyone. Well, there's cameras on me. Like, wow.
It was so weird. It was such a weird situation.
Don't talk about it. Honestly,
but even if he did have an STD, why would you quit your? I don't know. The whole thing was bizarre. Anyway, that was my favorite line. So there was it.
I don't know. But I go, which is like often because I'm responsible, and they're like, "Yep, you're all good. You're clear." I'm like, "No, it's KAT." I mean, you hand out trophies.
It's like having perfect attendance. You can all now have perfect clear tests.
With a big golden star.
Yeah, you can now be elected as a captain. I wanted
Good for
to
you.
know
And
a little bit about I mean, everyone wants to know a little bit about your dating life right now. Are you single? Are you
Good
dating
segue.
anyone?
Very good segue, Alli. You know, going from
From STDs to
not no from
potential Ds.
yeah,
just for
STDs to potential Ds. That's where we're going today.
not having them to how much are you dating? Well, judging by that last conversation, you'd think not a lot, but I sure am. So
Oh,
honestly, you know, dating takes a lot of time. I treat it like a part-time job. It takes that much time, but and I'm not discriminate. Like I'll give, you know, a doctor, an orthopedic surgeon that lives in a high-rise condo, a date, but I'm also giving a hockey player that lives in Buffalo a chance.
yes.
You know, a golfer that lives in Boca. Well, actually, he's out. You know, just you gotta. I like meeting people.
good for you. Yeah, I'm moving to London. I'm going to be there in April, and I just have to start
You do.
dating. It just has to
When I moved,
happen. Yeah.
it's double booking. I was like, they're like, what are you doing Thursday? I'm like, well, I have a 5, but I can do a 7.
Good. I'm petrified of it because I just don't really like people. I especially don't really like men. So I love men
I
that,
love men, but I don't.
yeah, like when I find a man I like, oof, I love them. But that is very far and few in
Right,
between.
but here's what I'll tell you. It's a numbers game. You got to play to win. You know. So you're not going to meet them. You got to
Yeah.
go out there. Listen. Especially when I was in New York and here actually. Worst case scenario, you get a free drink and a good meal. There's so many restaurants in New York. I was like, yes, I will meet you at that place that it's very hard to get reservations at. You know, yes. So
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think like you so have the right attitude because my attitude is I could be in bed in watching Netflix, having an early night with like, my cup of tea, and the idea of somebody wasting my time with their shit jokes and their shit compliments and but you're right, your attitude is the right attitude. Free meal, free drink.
easy as a chief stew in yachting or anyone that's in yachting. You aren't comfortable putting on a smile and acting like you're having a great time. You've been training.
But I'm not getting paid for it.
Listen, you're
Good point.
getting dinner, and you're also maybe getting a chance at somebody that's you might like. So just
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No, I'm determined. I've already said it to myself. I am moving there for the summer, and I am going to be a dating whore. I am so excited. I'm gonna do exactly what you're saying. I'm gonna double book myself.
in London, what a great city! I'm so jealous. My sister lives there. I'll come.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
So
they're
many hot
so
guys in
hot.
London.
Everyone's just so hot.
I think that like
That's why
English
last
men are
time
my
I was
thing.
there, I was like, they're so hot because I lived there like 8 years ago. Or no, like 10 years ago, and I was super young, and I came back recently, and I was like, oh my god, this is where I need to be. Everyone is smoking hot. So yeah, I'm excited.
But a lot of cheaters, from what I've seen on UK reality TV, they all seem to cheat on each other.
Everyone cheats everywhere.
Alli, I don't know if you're familiar with reality TV, but I wouldn't say to the general population the behaviors of males on reality TV. Just saying.
That's a fair point. Are either of you on dating apps? Please tell me you are. Oh, Kate, please tell me. I want to know if you do have a dating app, or if you don't even, what your bio would say.
Oh, absolutely, I have a dating app. But first, when I first got it, like years ago, and I like Below Deck, I've been on for a while. I didn't want somebody like screenshotting, uploading to Twitter, being like, "Look at Chief Stew Kate, she's on this dating app." So I used like a picture that could be me. It was actually like Rachel Zoe wearing sunglasses with her hair like this, and
Clever.
I mean, it was close enough. But it could be me, but it wasn't. And I even used a fake photo of my dog. I didn't even use my real dog. I'm like, that could be my dog, but it's not my dog. And the guy was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, that's actually not me, but this is me. But now I don't give a shit. You know, I think, and it always comes up eventually. And honestly,
that's so funny.
I'm the same. Like I couldn't care less. And we were in London.
Go ahead.
And my name isn't on my dating app. It isn't Daisy, but not because I care. It's because I keep my Facebook private. So just because it's for friends and family, I don't, it's not private, but I just don't want it in for the
Right.
public. So I have a different name. So the app obviously takes that name. So I was talking to a guy in London and we were talking for like a few days. And then he's like, so I was just out for drinks and someone told me that I'm being catfished. And I was like, what? I was like, no, that's me. And I was like, how did this come about? And he's like, well, basically, I showed my friend your picture and she's like, that girl's not that name. Well, let's call her Ashley. He's like, that girl's not Ashley. Her name's Daisy. And then I had to look back and explain to him, be like, oh no, that is actually me. I just have a different name because I want to keep my Facebook private.
Honestly,
So that was a whole, so he literally thought he was being catfished.
Yeah, you
and we
guys
never
are
and the
met.
guy that I had the
Catfish,
fake photos, he's
catfish.
like, I feel like this is a reverse catfish. So you're not that person. You're actually. He's like, I actually am pleasantly surprised.
You're actually hotter than what you showed me.
It's like you couldn't get mad at me. It couldn't be me. But now I don't give a shit. Whatever. It's going to come up eventually. You know. It's usually when we have the first drink. But it has been a kind of an issue where, like, I think some guys just wanted to go on a date with Kate from Below Deck because their ex-girlfriend watched the show. Blah, 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 blah. But whatever. I still got that free drink and meal.
Yeah.
Get
I
something
met
out
a
of
guy
it.
recently and he was 21, like I'm 34. This was only like 3 weeks ago. And he was infatuated with me. But he knew that I was on the show. And I think he was confused himself. I don't think he knew if he fancied me because of me or because I was on the show. But he was hard fangirling me. Like he was obsessed with me. I was like, oh, you're so cute. This is never going to
So
happen.
much.
Yeah, that's a turn off.
I'm 15 years older than you.
Yeah.
Oh God. What's it like, Kate, being a celebrity? I like to say in quotation because it's such a cringe word. In the US, because Below Deck is obviously a US show. It's
Right.
not that big where I live. So or it's big in the UK. Is it, Daisy? It is kind of. But I mean the US, it's massive.
It is,
It's massive.
but nothing like the US.
There.
Yes.
Because I think it just started airing out because I can tell that now the UK people are reaching out to me. I'm like, what season are you on? That was so 5 years ago. But, you know, it's happening around. I can always tell.
Yeah, okay.
We just got it. I would say I'm a.
You're reliving your fame. You're becoming you're like becoming famous again.
They're like, so how did that feel with that? I'm like, what are you? I don't remember it. I don't know what they're talking about. And I'm like, let me get back in that headspace. So, you know, I think I'm just a reality cast member. And what's interesting about that is because you are yourself on a television, people, I think you're more approachable because they feel like they know you, which is awesome. I think anyone, they're like, they ask for a selfie, they're like, do you hate this? I'm like, no. Anyone who tells you that it's not super flattering is an asshole. It is so flattering. I absolutely love it. But my best favorite moment, I was walking my dog in New York City and some lovely girl came up. I was like, can I get a photo? And she goes, I recognized your dog, so I knew first. And I was like, like, thank you for recognizing Halo. I was like so thrilled.
I'm the same. I get asked, and I'm not anywhere near like you, Kate. And people always say it as well. They're like, is it annoying? And I'm like, no, I think it's because I've met the nicest people. Like some people have bought me drinks. Some people have, and they're really respectful. Like you can tell that they're really embarrassed. They don't like run up to me and are like, oh, demanding a photo. You can tell that they're really embarrassed and being like, oh, do you mind if I have a photo? And I'm like, for sure. Like,
Right.
yeah. I'm like, I'm not Jennifer Aniston. I'm not getting like hounded. I'm like,
I love it.
Take the photo, buy me a
I
drink.
love it. Please tell me how much you loved all that hard work you saw me do. I love it. Alli, it's in Australia. How are you finding it, Alli?
Oh, it's not a thing here. I mean, it is. It's just it's on at like midnight on a weeknight on Main Street. It's not that big. So I've been when I was working in the Whit Sundays, which is I guess probably one of the main hubs for boating and yachting in Australia. When I was working up there as the show was airing, I had a couple of people recognize me, and since then someone DM'd me and said they saw me down the street a month ago, and that's it. Like it's not a thing. And my friends have been like, oh, you're exactly the same since you've been on the show. I'm like, well, obviously I'm always going to be the same person. Like, What do you think I am?
You're like, yeah, that one person who recognized me
Yeah.
4 months ago, it really went to my head.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, but no, yeah, not a thing here. And that's why I was sort of a bit curious because I remember when Daisy you went to New York as the show was airing to watch with Dr. Frank to watch his episode, and yeah, you got recognized a few times. You had a bit of a different experience. Natasha got bumped up to first class on the plane.
Yeah.
Did she? I didn't know that. Yeah, in New York I got recognized a bit, but I was in LA recently and no one recognized me.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was
Well,
interesting.
yeah, it's just too cool, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's like that Daisy one. Who did she think exactly? I'm like the biggest Z-list celebrity in LA.
Yeah,
True.
I say it's a very cool life experience that all three of us are very lucky to have because
Yeah.
people want to know what it's like to be on reality TV. I think a lot of people do. But also that we were so fortunate to be on a popular show. Because there's plenty of reality TV that you can get on. That doesn't mean people are going to watch it. So I just feel like we got so lucky to have this very unique, amazing life experience.
Definitely.
Well, especially for you, because when you joined the show, it wasn't big, it wasn't popular, and that's you know why we say you're like the OG, because you know you made it what it is.
Yeah, you really did.
And
you really
that was
the way.
a huge risk because for me it was a less of a. I mean, I guess it's a huge risk for me because there's a huge following already, and that if I was unpopular, there's no coming back from it. But yeah, you didn't know it was going to be as big as it is now, I'm sure. Or what, you know, how did you feel about it?
I had a feeling that if they had a chief stew who, you know, was better, it could be very cool. I mean, I've always loved yachting and appreciated what a very adventurous, cool, awesome, interesting, behind the curtain, luxurious world it is. And so I just wanted to make sure it was portrayed correctly, and I thought it would be great.
Have you had any?
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you saw that vision. Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm glad you know, you and Cortland and Ryan, everything saw the vision.
We saw it much sooner, but
yeah,
I'm so happy when I heard that I mean, I think everybody on the planet, no matter where they work, everyone has said this. And you guys have probably said this at jobs you've had before. Casey, I know you've been working in yachting for a long time. But like waiting tables or like working retail, everyone has workplace drama. And everyone, when it's all going to shit, looks at their, like, this could be a reality show.
yeah, 100%.
So it was cool that they.
And what's so, I think, unique about this is because you're right, everyone says that about their job, but also nobody knows about yachting. You know, I know when I came into the industry, I was like, what is this? Like, this isn't, it's just a whole nother world. So I think people are just so fascinated by what we do because no one knows it exists except for us and the super rich. And the rest of the world are like, what, these rich people own these boats and they basically have these servants waiting on them 24/7 for months at a time.
Adventurous crew. I mean, I live in Toronto. It's yachting capital of the world, and it's shocking to me. I mean, you can't go anywhere. You can't go to the grocery store without seeing big yachts parked in people's backyards at all the marinas. And it's shocking how many people, and this is when I was working on yachts and I would go out, they've grown up here. They have no idea about the yachting industry. It just never occurs to them. It's literally in their backyard. Yeah. Well, I guess that was back then. I think they know now. I think the secret's out.
I was wondering if you could give us a bit of insight into how you got into yachting, and did you have any other dreams that you may have taken instead, like other courses in your life that you didn't end up doing? You know, I was a cocktail waitress, bartender all through college. I wanted to be an interior decorator because every girl does. They're like, I love fashion, I love that. But my dad told me, you'll never make any money in that. So, but I was like, yes, I will. But you had to go to architecture school, which I did. But it was like, wow. Which only briefly. I chose a different major. I ended up with communications major, which is very broad, you know? And I was kind of having a quarter life crisis, which I think everyone can relate to. It's kind of like when you're just out of high school or just out of college and you don't have the life skills to make very important life decisions. You're like, pick a career, pick where you want to live, and we're going to give you a salary, and you got to move out. And I was like, I don't want to get an entry level job and a cubicle and
a shitty apartment and just work forever. So I was like, well, I'm going to avoid making that decision after college, and I'm going to go work on a yacht for 1 year. My cousins had done it in the 90s, before there was Wi-Fi, you guys. Imagine how hard. Like, one of them, I know, they would have to write their emails and wait till they got into port, and then they would turn the internet on for like 5 minutes. Everybody would be like, send. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Hi, Adobe. What am I later? Sorry, my computer just... Anyways. Oh. So my cousins had done yachting, and I just saw it as an escape route. I'll go do it for 1 year. I'll travel. I'll make money. And I just ended up loving it, you know? And then I did it for 6 years. I did some freelance years, which were great. I did a lot of, like, 6 seasons in the Caribbean, 2 seasons in the Med, maybe 3, the Hamptons, Mexico, you know, did the usual. And then I was just like, I was a chief stew for a while, and I was like, now what? So the show was like a perfect way to do what I
next step, yeah.
But the real reason I did the show is because before the show was a thing, I was like, this could be a reality, or this is an interesting job. So I started writing a book about it. And I remember The Captain's Wife. We were in San Tropez. It was like the worst med season ever. I was like, I'm going to write a book about yachting. I was a laundry stew. I was like, did not know enough. And I was like, I'm going to do it. It's just, if you write a book about yachting, you'll never work in the industry again. And I said, well, if it's so known that people won't hire me, I won't need to. So I wrote the book before anything, just because, like, it was like before social media, so I was bored. I don't know. And when I heard about the show, I was like, okay, this would be the perfect reason to get on TV.
Sorry to interrupt. How did you hear about the show? Because back then, obviously now it's with Instagram and Facebook. It's easy.
I heard about the show because this woman named Julie Perry wrote a book, How to Become a Yacht Stewardess. And after college, I went on Google and I was like, how do I? Because my cousins have been out of it for a while. And I looked her up on MySpace. I bought her book. I read it cover to cover. And I looked up her on MySpace. That's how long ago this was.
Wow.
I had dial-up internet. And I was so excited that I sent her a message on MySpace. I was like, hi, I bought your book. I'm gonna do exactly what it said. And I'm so excited. And she was like my icon, like yachty author.
That's so cute.
I get to Mary's Crew House in Fort Lauderdale, and she responded so nice, like, when you get here, let me know. I'll go out for a drink. But I was too intimidated. I was like, I'm not going to message Julie Perry. She won't, you know. I walk into Waxies the first night I'm in town, and guess who's sitting in the first booth? Her.
Meant to be.
It was fate.
So anyways, years down the road, when the first season was coming out, she called me. She's like, hi, it's Julie Perry. I know I haven't talked to you in like 7 years, but I've kept track of you on Facebook, and there's going to be a yachting reality show on Bravo, and I don't have time to update my book, so I was wondering if I could hire you. And the minute she said there's going to be a yachting reality show on Bravo, I was like, the clouds parted. I was like, I'm going to be on it.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's a really cool story. That's really, like, a lot of fate there, kind of things. Stars aligning that, was meant to be. And very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's definitely a bit more interesting than how any of us have heard from it, like Instagram.
It was such like an exciting time, and I think you guys are amazing, rad. I would have loved to work with both of you. I would have been so lucky, and probably we would have had a great time. But
yeah,
I was honestly so jealous. I was like, Daisy got such a good interior team. But you both can tell, like, sometimes there's people, whether you're watching it or it's people you've had on your seasons, you can tell now that the show's gotten bigger, there are people who are there because they saw it on TV. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can certainly tell that.
Yeah, 100%. I think, in the season that I did in season 2 and in season 3, it was actually a bit of a weird one because I think, I'm not going to name any names, but I definitely think there were a few people... Kate's like, bitch, name names. And there were definitely, definitely a few people who were 100% there to gain fame or to, have an ulterior motive. But weirdly, I was very lucky on both seasons as well that they were very concerned about their job. So for both seasons, even if some of them had an ulterior motive, they were still concerned with doing well. And especially because this season, because Below Deck 2 was so well received, I think people came on in Below Deck 3, even if they wanted to be famous, being like, oh, we can't fuck up because Below Deck 2, everyone was so individually so good at their job, apart from maybe JL, but everyone else. And, and I think so. I felt very, very lucky on both seasons that, because I'm just there to do a good job. Yeah, I'm like, nobody bring me your fucking drama. I didn't want it first season, and I didn't want it second season. Don't care. Just do your job, be funny, and you'll be successful.
And that's true in real yachting. Like, having a sense of humor. We don't have a lot to live for out there, Like, you have to be able to make anything funny, because if you can't make, I'm chopping limes, like, you can't have laughter in your workday, it's going to be a long...
You go insane.
Like, a real yachty to me is somebody who works hard, doesn't run their mouth in the crew mess, and when you are working is able to make jokes even when it sucks. Like, actually, when it's the worst is when you make more jokes.
Yeah.
Daisy?
No, I agree. And I also think partying hard. I think that, everyone says that about yachting. You have to work hard and party hard. And you have to be a good drunk. Like, you can't be a bad drunk. You can't be a negative or aggressive, because we're so tired. You've worked for like 3 weeks straight, and then obviously you get like straight onto the tequila, which is, most people would be like falling asleep in the corner. So it's like, if you can't party hard, you don't belong here, and that was for me. Below Deck is a big part of that as well. I'm like, you need to learn how to party and not be a moron.
Yeah, you can't fall asleep in the hot tub on the first night because you drank too much whiskey.
No one did that today.
I just recommend that in general, just don't fall asleep in hot tubs in general. I think that's a good rule of thumb. And actually, it's a good rule of thumb. Yachting is such a metaphor for life. Like, be funny, work hard, and don't be an annoying bad drunk.
Don't fall asleep in the hot tub.
Bodies of water. You heard it here first.
Hey, that's pretty good. You don't need much more than that.
There you go.
Yeah, fuck school, fuck therapy. This is all you need right here. We are giving it to you people, exclusive content.
Well, I will say that, so I did yachting after college, and I will say I'm so glad I got that degree. Not that I've really used it, but it made my parents happy, but I did kind of like teach me how to like meet deadlines, blah, blah, blah. But I learned more in my yachting career, just because it's such a crash course in colloquialisms, in different cultures, and, you're going to some of the most fantastic places. Your tastes very much get elevated. Like, the girl I went in, I thought I had a good taste when I started yachting. No. Then after a year, I was like, oh, I want this brand, because then you start knowing what the owner's like. It's just such a good life education.
Well, I'm awful. Like, people will go out for dinner, and like someone will be like I'm so judgy. Someone will be like, oh, what's ceviche? And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, do you live under a rock? And I have to like remind myself. Or they're like, what's foie gras? And I'm like, oh my god,
happen?
Oh my fucking
Does that happen often to you? I feel like working yachting, like every yachty knows that.
No, not yachties. That's what I mean. Like, people in the real world.
Dating.
So then I'm super judgy.
Dating's going to be so fun for you.
Oh, God. And I'm so judgy because we came from a really foodie family as well. So I kind of grew up with this anyway. And then I came into yachting and it was the norm. But yeah, if I go, not my friends because they're pretty well cultured. But yeah, like maybe not a date, but like maybe someone I don't know. And they're like looking at the menu and they're like, what's this? I'm like, the fuck? Who brought that clown to dinner? So,
no,
here it is, guys.
Just see it as an opportunity to be look so cool. Be like, oh, let me tell you, let me teach you. Like, you have an upper hand, you have an advantage. Like,
No, you see life so differently to me. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. But normally, I'm like, what the hell, this person? But it's so bad because I shouldn't be judging because we're so lucky to have such incredible experiences and to have learned so much about food. And I have to remind myself that not everybody gets those opportunities like we did. So yeah, I agree.
And when I first stopped yachting, like for like 5 years, I just like took a little break. I started trying to date like land guys, and I had a very strict. I'm like, will never date anyone who has less sea time than me. I just can't handle it. Because it was like, so I went to a basketball game this weekend. I was like, I crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Okay,
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time to like get used to land lovers. But listen,
It's like they're another species for those landlubbers.
and
It's a part of evolution. It's like landlubbers and yachties. It's like they're just a step behind.
And there's a big part, everyone knows as yachting as well, explaining our job is the most fucking annoying thing. So like obviously I can't date a yachty because they're all assholes. But it saves me a lot of time trying to explain what I do and blah, blah, blah. I can't stand that question. Oh my God, it drives me crazy. So yeah, sometimes it's easier just to date an asshole so I don't have to explain my job.
I travel the world with billionaires. What do you do?
Just impress them, blow them away, Daisy, with all your
Depends.
stories
do it.
and culture.
This is a life-changing podcast for me. I'm learning so much. I'm going to be a different person.
I know one of my questions was to Kate that I wrote down was, do you have any advice for Daisy? And it's just coming out left, right, and center. Daisy in the franchise, you're going to be a whole new woman with a whole new perspective.
I don't think you need advice when it comes, like, you're doing incredibly well. I mean, you're fantastic, and I think you don't give a flying, can we curse? You know what I mean. You know what I was going to say. You don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can totally curse. Have you listened to me talk?
Honestly, I love that word, but I love to say fuck. But I'm trying to say it less. It's not really working out. I love how you don't give a flying fuck, and that's why you're so good. That's why you're so good on the show. You don't give a fuck, and that's what it takes to be a good chief stew. Because there's gonna be drama from the guests, drama from the crew. And if you get in your head, you're going to be like, and that's why you're amazing. You don't give a fuck. You're like, I'm doing my job. I know I'm good at it. And get in line. And there's going to be a crew mess meeting in 5 minutes, okay?
What are your thoughts on the...
I was so mad. Looking back on that, I was so fucking mad. I was like...
It worked out.
I was like in a blind rage.
Kate, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
Okay.
Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 3 trailer, sorry.
Yeah, Below Deck Sailing Season 3, there's a lot of words in there. Below Deck
so many words.
Season 2 was like amazing. I mean, you guys really killed it. And those are big shoes to fill. I feel bad for the cast of Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 3, the new ones. Not you, Daisy. I don't feel bad for you because you don't give a fuck. But that trailer... And I honestly, after doing yachting for so long, and then doing Below Decks for so long, and now I'm doing galley talk, it's just like, I'm kind of like, there's not a lot of things Below Deck related that I like really care about or like haven't seen before, But that trailer is the exception. I got goosebumps. I was like, they did the damn thing. It looks so, oh my God. I think it has a lot to do with it being on a sail yacht. I mean, you got more confined space, which makes people more crazy, nowhere to hide from each other. And it's like a much more badass job. And also things go flying and more wrong. It's just so good. I can't wait.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's so weird because I've worked predominantly on sailboats. So for me, I'm so used to it. And when I kept seeing comments being like, it's magic because it's on a sailboat, because that drama happens. You can't force yourself to fall. Like you can't, you can force yourself to bitch or to kiss someone that you weren't supposed to, and try and create drama. But those falls and those, falling out of the bunk, falling down the stairs, the chef cutting his head, that's all dead real. And you cannot create that.
His scalp.
I could not look at that. But also,
it was like a toupee. It was like a toupee came off the top of his head.
That's why I couldn't be a nurse. That's why I went into yachting. I cannot even watch Grey's Anatomy. But even on the plus side, not even.
It was disgusting.
Like when the sails go up, it is majestic. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And I went on.
No, it's something really
special. I met you
special.
guys on Parcel 3, and I could not believe. I was like, you guys just did 6 weeks on this. You guys just did 6 weeks on this tiny little boat. It's unbelievable. I even found myself, I was hiding in the laundry room. I ironed my linen pants with a front crease because I was having I was like muscle memory. I was like, where do I hide? I went to the laundry room and I put a front Captain Lee crease in my linen pants that I wanted to wear. And I was just like, I was to go where I feel safe. And then I was like, I don't want a crease in these pants. That boat is so, ooh. So I can't wait. When is it? When is it air?
February the 21st.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, we'll be dropping this
and the other
podcast
thing,
episode the day after it airs, so this may sound a bit out of
yes.
place, but yes, it'll be.
God, it was such a good episode, and I can't wait for the rest of the.
Wow, blown away! What a start to the season.
Episode. I mean, oh.
But the other thing about the sailboat, so the other thing about the comments is, so I'm going to address everyone. So funny because everyone's like, why don't they lock the doors? Like, I do not understand. And it must be so frustrating as a viewer or even as a guest on board or anyone to be like, how is shit still falling? Like, how haven't you learned after 10 years being a chief stew and sailboats?
What happened? What did happen?
The which,
What
sorry?
happened? As a chief stew, would like you stow for going underway? Like,
well, you stow, but the thing is that so many of these boats are built so that the owners want nice looking latches, not sturdy looking latches. They want nice looking latches that are cheap. And what that means is you cannot hold the weight when you're heeled over that much of, you know, of the vases or of the bloody bags of sand and stones we have for decoration that weigh 10 kilo. And these tiny little latches, because they're cheap and they look nice, not that they're full of durance. So we lock them, but the weight is too much for them. And then other times when you're just busy and like, you know, you just hear, I'm just doing lunch for 6 people. I'm trying to clear it up. And Glenn's like, right, we're putting up the sails. And I have to prioritize. I have to clean the dishes over going to check if everything's stowed. And I consciously, you know, make the decision. I need to get all these crystal glasses and these expensive plates away. So I'm going to let shit fall because I'm getting a 5-minute warning. So that's the reason why it is just a constant fucking battle.
Obviously, and it's good to know they need better latches, but that totally makes sense. It's like, you're doing the best you can, but then also you have you choose the most expensive thing first, you know, because that's how it goes.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I agree. I watch it and it's frustrating. I'm in it and I'm like, like so many times, I don't know what they're going to air this season, but so many times you just hear me like fucking going mental because there's just shit flying everywhere. And I'm just like, it's fucking boat. I'm so sick of working a fucking sailboat.
There was a lot more chaos going on in that sense than I recall in our season. A lot of
I think we got better win this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we didn't. We had a few pretty mediocre.
We did have, and it's the same on, you know, boats that I don't work on the show. I go to the captain every time. I'm like, these fucking latches. I'm so pissed off. I can't deal with this anymore. You know, just repeating myself. It's like Groundhog Day. So
yeah, we're running out of time actually.
Battle,
so I just wanted to, before we wrap it up, I just wanted a couple wrap up questions with you, Kate. The age old question of everyone's lips: shag, marry, kill from the whole franchise. And I also want to know, who are the cast members you wish that you got to work with? So those 2 questions to round it up today.
I'm gonna go in reverse. I'm not just saying this because I'm here with you. I really was so jealous of y'all's interior team, and I don't do that many podcasts, but I was so excited to finally come and chat with y'all. I wish I could work with you guys. I mean, honestly, if you ever need like a freelance laundry stew for 1 week in St. Bart, I swear I will find out. I'm not gonna leave the laundry room, but just put me in. I'll wear earbuds. I want to 1 week, you know.
That would be awesome.
Amazing. I'll keep that in mind.
I will totally do it just for the air travel, and like it's kind of like I miss it just a little. So I work with you 2, and then shag, marry, kill. I mean, I think everyone here mostly. I don't know about you, Alli, but I think Daisy, you might agree. Because you're dating somebody, Alli, so you don't have to say.
Yeah. That's okay.
I know exactly who you're going to say.
Well, he's just so dope. You know, I watched his YouTube video about his, parlay revival? And he's just a surfer, which was my type, you know, growing up. I've now gone outside the surfing world, but he's like just so great. He's a real fucking man. But also his new girlfriend is so milking hot, and it's, you know, they match. So definitely start him.
Good choice.
Mary. You know, this is a little weird. I feel like Captain Glenn would be a really good.
I knew you were going to say that as well. Kate's messaged me about this already from the last season. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm such a crush on Captain
It was
Glenn."
last season when you guys hit the dock, and he's usually so nice and Canadian and just nice. But when he hit, it shows how like fucked up my tastes are. When he hit the dock and he got mad, he was like, "What the?" I was like, "Glenn."
Like swooning.
Whoa.
That does it for you. Really.
I love it. No, you're like me. You like a man. You like, you want someone to get mad. Like,
Brilliant.
But they drive a big boat, and also I think sailors they know how to take things slow and they're patient. So, and I just think he's lovely. And then Kill. I mean, it's just such a long list, y'all. I would honestly, out of self-defense, I don't know if you guys remember this person, but Chef Leon, season 3, he was very scary. Like, I think it almost got to that point. Like, I think he pretty much was like, "You better watch your back." He poured honey in my bed. They never showed that. Like, yes. Like, it was my interview, and he put a whole jar of honey in my bunk bed. Like, he really wanted to kill me. So I'm going to say Leon because self-defense.
oh my god, I don't know if I've watched this season. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
I knew the moment I met him, I was like, not a yachty. Oh shit. And he knew that I knew. So he's like a misogynist. Like,
that was the season with Rocky, wasn't it?
Oh, they're the worst.
And like his intro, I'm Leon. I love making beef cheeks, and I always make girls cry that I work with. Like, he was like proud of that.
Oh, that's so psycho. That was so cringe. I haven't watched that season in years. But
I don't think I
do
watched
remember
it.
him.
I'm
It's
gonna
the
have to
season
watch
with
it.
Rocky when she jumps in the
You're
water.
misogynistic.
You guys are probably babies.
Misogynistic men, I can't deal. Any men watching it out there, just take a piece of advice from us 3. Just don't be a misogynist.
Yeah, please.
If you want to get far in life.
The thing is, the misogynists don't realize they're misogynists. It's not like they're like, oh. I mean, ask Ashton. He's been told a million times, and he just can't get it.
Never learn.
He's like, no, this is just the way you speak to women.
This is normal. Oh, thank you, Kate, so much. This has been really fun, and we have been waiting and waiting to have you for something special. So this has been very special. You did not disappoint.
Thank you guys for having me, and congratulations. And I look forward to watching more Below Deck Sailing season 3. And Alli,
amazing
on your beautiful baby.
Thank you so much, and shout out to you on Galley Talk as well. Everyone needs to get amongst the Galley Talk. We don't have it in Australia.
You need to do Galley Talk for Below Deck Sailing.
Oh, okay. I will let people know.
Okay, make sure.
Yes, thank you so much, Kate.
Make sure you rate and review our podcast. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and thanks. Bye, guys.